So today we'll be talking about finding a percent of a number. Where do we often use percent of a number? We use it all the time in supermarkets. You will have percentage off an item, even in clothing stores, where if there's a sale going on, maybe some items will have 30% off, 20% off, and 20% off your final sale as well. And even in when you in the future have money in your bank, there's also interest where there is going to be a interest accumulation of the percentage of the total amount of money that you have in the bank. And so those are all to do with percents. Even in today's finance world, a lot of stocks are based on percent, how to calculate the profit that you make, that'll be all based on percentages. If you switch on the news, and then sometimes you will see those small numbers at the very top, with the green arrows and the red arrows talking about the stock changes. Those are all to do with percents as well. Whether a stock increases, then there'll be a positive percent. There'll be a rise in percentage change. So today we'll talk about the percent of a number. So what is a percent of a number? So for example, let me give you a very easy example first. So let's say a t-shirt costs $100. And this is in Hong Kong dollars. Just a very simple designer t-shirt that you can buy from a clothing store. And so let's talk about the percent of a number. 100% means the whole number. And so 100% of whatever number it is will be the same number. And so 100% of $100 is actually just itself, 100. As simple as that. How do we actually calculate it? It is actually 100% times $100. And if we remember 100% as an equivalent fraction, it is just 1. Or the equivalent decimal will be just 1. 1 times any number is itself. Let's look at another percentage. Let's say we have 50% of $100. And so 50%, it is actually the same. If we convert 50% into the equivalent fraction or the equivalent decimal, that will be half times $100, or you can write it as the decimal 0.5 times $100. Now, hopefully this number is easy enough for you to do it in your head. And so half times 100, that will easily be $50. That's just half of a number. If we're going to go to a smaller percentage, let's say we have 10% of $100. 10% of $100 is the same as, if we change it to the decimal form, that will be 0.1, or if you use a fraction form, that will be 1 over 10. So I'll show you with both. If it's 1 over 10 times $100, and of course, the 10 and the 100, they can cancel out quite easily, and so that will be the same as $10. Now, if you use decimal, or 0.1 times $100, then 0.1 times 100, then it will be just the same as 1 times 100, and you move the decimal place 1 place to the left, and so that will be also equal to $10. So it is the same. So percent of a number, what does it actually mean? So in terms of is there a way that we can remember if you don't know how to do it? So there are 2 ways for us to do it. So step A, I will just say for step A or B. So method A, let's just say method A, will be you change the percent into the equivalent fraction. So we want to change the percent into its equivalent fraction. And then you multiply the fraction by the number. The percent of a number will be the fraction times the number. And so then you multiply the fraction percent to the number. So that's method A. And then method B will be very similar, but instead of changing the percent into its equivalent fraction, you can change it into its equivalent decimal. And so that will be change the percent into its equivalent decimal. And then afterwards, you multiply the decimal percent to the number. So when do we use method A and when do we use method B? So if your percentage can easily convert into a fraction, a simple fraction. So if the percent can easily change into a simple fraction. What do I mean by easily change into a simple fraction? So for example, if we have 50%, that is the same as half. That is an easy fraction. If I have other well-known easy percents, if I have 20%, 20% is the same as 1/5. We can also have 25%, which is the same as a quarter. And then we also have 10%, which is the same as 0.1. And, sorry, not 0.1, that's a decimal. That's 1/10, sorry, 1/10. And what other fractions are easy? 75% is the same as 3/4. Those are all still fairly easy. And I think we understand where I'm going at. So things that can easily change into a fraction with a base of half, with a quarter, 1/5, 2/5, 3/5, 4/5. Those are all fairly simple. 1/4, 3/4, those are still very simple. 1/10, that is still quite simple as well, and so on. Now, if that percent cannot easily change into a fraction, then we need to change it into its equivalent decimal. And we know how to do that. We did that last lesson. And so if the percent cannot easily... Now, what is the definition of easy? That's up to you. If you think changing 35% into a fraction is easy for you, then go ahead and use the fraction form. That's 35 out of 100, in which that'll be 7 out of 20. If that's easy for you, then sure, go ahead. If that's not easy for you, then we need to change the percent into cannot easily change into a simple fraction. Then I forgot to finish my sentence. If the percent of the first one cannot easily change into, if the percent can easily change into a simple fraction, i.e. those, then we will change into use fraction. Use fraction. If the percent cannot easily change into a simple fraction, so for example, let's say 11% is not easily changed into a fraction. Then also we can also have let's say 21% as well. Even 7% is not an easy fraction. It cannot change into an easy fraction. Or even, let me say, let's just leave it at these three for now. 11%, 21%, 7%, we cannot easily change them into a simple fraction. And so what we do is we would first change, convert the fraction as the percent to the decimal. So convert percent to decimal. And then, so for example, let me do my example in red so it's easy to see, or green. So for example, 11% is the same as 0.11. We shifted the decimal 2 places to the left. 21% is the same as 0.21. 7% is the same as 0.07. So we've all done that last lesson. So that's step 1. And then step 2, what we want to do is we want to multiply the decimal to the number. So step 2 will be multiply the decimal to the number. And so for example, let's say we wanted to find 11% of a number, let's say of 50. 11% of 50, how do we do this? That is the same as 0.11 times 50. And then how do we do 0.11 times 50? Then we would use long multiplication. We would do 50 times 0.11, multiply it. And so 1 times 0 is 0, 1 times 5 is 1, 1 times 0 is 0, 1 times 5 is 1. And then we have add them together. That's 0, 5, 5. And then how many decimal places? There's 2 decimals, and so that's 5.5, which means that 11% of 50 is, so we can rewrite that as equal to 5.5, like that. So that's how we do that. What about for 21% of 50? Let's still do it. So 21% of 50, and so 21% is the same as 0.21 times 50, and then let's do our working out. That's 50 times 0.21, long multiplication. So that's going to be 1 times 0 is 0, 1 times 1 is 5, 2 times 0 is 0, 2 times 5 is 10, and then you add the numbers. That's going to be 0, 5, 0, 1, 2 decimal places, that's 10.5, and so your answer will be 10.5 in the end. So 21% of 50 is 10.5. Okay, and then lastly, final one, 7% of 50. So that will be 0.07 times 50. And so what I want you guys to do is, I want you to do it first. And then so pause the video, do it first, and then I'll go through the solution. Pause it now. So I assume you've done it. So this is going to be 50 times 0.07. And so 7 times 0 is 0, 7 times 5 is 35. And then there's 2 decimal places, so there's 2 decimals, 3.5. And so that is equal to 3.5 in the end. 7% of 50 is 3.5. Was that really difficult? No, it's just mostly multiplying decimals to whole numbers. So today's lesson, I have some examples. I know it's 13 minutes. Let me try to do one example of using our percents in finding discounts. So example, I want to try not to go too long. Example, finding a discount. Finding the discount. So let's say a pair of shoes cost, let's say $900. Just a pair of shoes cost $900, and then there is a sale of 25% off. Now, first of all, we have to understand what is the meaning of 25% off. This 25% off means that it is 25% of, it's not off the number, which means we take away 25% of the original value. So let me just write this in words over here. That means it is 25% value of the shoe less of the original price. So hopefully this makes it slightly easier to understand. So if the shoes cost $900, first we want to find 25% of the shoe of 900, and then we want to take away that value from the original. So step one will be find 25% of 900, find the answer, and then step two, take away the percent, the 25%, take away the value that you got from step one, take away the percent off from $900. So let's do that. Step one, let's calculate that. We want to do 25%, which is the same as 1/4. So I'm going to do 1/4 equals to 1/4 times 900. And so 1/4 times 900, you can do that in your head, or you can work that out. And so that'll be half of 900, which is 450, which is 225. Is it 225? Yeah. So that is equal to $225. So 1/4 of 900 should be 225. I didn't make a mistake, right? 450, half of that is 225. Yeah. And then step two, we want to take away 225 from 900. And so step two will be 900 minus 225 is equal to $675. So the price, the sale price, I forgot to write down. There's a sale of 25% off, and we want to find the sale price. So the sale price will be $675. Okay. So your homework for today . Let's first practice some percents of numbers, and then next lesson we'll probably do a few more examples to do with applications of percent. So homework will be chapter 8.6, exercise 8.6, and then you will need to do questions. 8.7, finding percent of a number. The questions will be questions 3, 4, 5, 6, and then do 15, 16, 17, 18, and then I want us to find some sale price. So that will be question 20%. Question 20, question 23, and one more. Let's do 26. When it says 20% discount, it's the same as 25% off. So 25% off will be the same as 25% discount. That's it for today's homework. I will see you guys next lesson. I know it's a little bit long, but thank you for watching. See you guys next time.